Hello, everybody. I'm Janae Payne again, and this is our second discussion, and it's in this week. And so, our discussion is on women of the Revolutionary era, and it's on the basis of Betsy Ross and how Leah Millow's analogy is on that manner of Betsy Ross. So we already know from the reading that Betsy Ross made the American flag and the representation of her heroism and how um, it was brought up in society through relatives and how she was good at fabric, upholstery, and she was talking and saying that, hey, I can put more stars on and do all these other things. And it's just in that brave moment as a woman to have consistency and to feel important. So, with that set in mind, the person that I picked was Phyllis um, Wheatley. And Phyllis Wheatley, starting off, she was a slave, and it was very different back then. Dealt with racism and things on identity and where would you be, and on immigration. So the first article that I found was by Vincent Carretta, and it brings out a lot, and it's titled Phyllis Wheatley, and tells the story of her life and how she was kidnapped and how she was brought to America, you know, and she basically went with the flow because she didn't have no choice. And it basically in this article displays, or um, well, this presentation displays a narrative analysis on Phyllis Wheatley and how she was terrified and everything was involuntary. And it brought out the foundation of her being the mother of American literature. And the second reading that I found was Talking Back, Phyllis Wheatley, Race and Religion. And it's by Keith Byerman. And it goes into a story, brings out the history of race and um, her lack of creativity in her book, which consisted of poetry. And the author, Mr. Keith, emphasizes on how it's about emotions and being subhuman. Well, back then, it was nothing but emotions, and it's hard not to agree with emotions. It didn't deal with creativity. It's like realistic, like what really happened to a woman back then, especially during racism, African American black woman. And so that's what he brings out. And then the trials of Phyllis Wheatley, America's first black poet, and her encounters with the founding fathers. Um, it's an eye opener, and it brings out Phyllis Wheatley and how she stood on trial, basically, um, whether she was going to be free or not free. And it's mind boggling at the same time, um, because in 1772 of October, she had to sit before 18 gentlemen. And that wasn't an easy task for her or for anybody of that matter. And they want to make sure that she can bring out this history, these skills, being African American at that time and a slave. So if she could bring this history out in literature and her poetry was as much as she said it was, then she would have gained her freedom, in which she did after so many years. She gained her freedom. So it was determination: will you be free or not free um, as a woman? So the basis for a woman starting off for the Revolutionary period um, was hard. It wasn't an easy task. You had to work hard to be an entrepreneur or to be important. And so this is that history.